Wrong page, sorry that. Hello there, I hope you are all doing well. Welcome to this webinar. We're going to be looking at identifying gaps using EducationCity and the tools that EducationCity has on offer. My name's Haylie. I'm going to be taking you through all of this today. So what we're going to be looking at are the assessments that EducationCity has to offer, where you can find those. Also the activities. I don't know if you know this already, but the assessments and activities on EducationCity are marked for you. So both of those really useful in helping to identify gaps in learning. And then heading over to the success tracker, where you'll be able to view results from any assessments or activities students have done and compile that data for reporting purposes. So I think that is just about everything. Just before we get started though, if we're going along and you think of any questions for me, at the very end of the session, there will be an email address where you can send those questions in. I'll be more than happy to answer those for you. Also, the account I'm going to be using is a made-up school, so please do not worry about any names, students or staff that you might see. They are all made up. So I think that is everything. Let's get started. Head over to educationcity.com where we can log in. And here we are. As always, I'm using the new homepage instead of the old one. You can still use that, obviously, but if you do want to use this page in your teaching, just click on the ribbon there and that will take you through into this area. So starting off with the assessments, as you can see on this page, they're right there in front of you. You're not going to worry about going anywhere to find them. So you can head in, click onto set assessment, and it will talk you through setting assessment for your class or for a group of students. You'll see you've got the grouping function there as well. So I'm going to go for P4 students. There we go, right down the middle a little bit. There we are. So it will talk you through your who, your what. Now you have got assessments available for P2 to P6 just there, and they're available in literacy, numeracy and science. The good thing is, because you do have access to all of those assessments, it doesn't mean that, for example, if my students were in P4, I might want to set them a P3 assessment just to see where the gaps lie from COVID, but also from the summer slide. So you can do that if you wish to. So I'm going to go set a P3 one. There we are. And then we've got literacy, numeracy and science just there. And once again, you can go through and you can have a look through those. Most of them are formative assessments at the moment, as you can see. Summative assessments, my apologies. You've got the numeracy assessment just there, and in science you've got your end of year assessment for that as well. In literacy we do have a couple more for the different levels. So you can see we've got a couple of formative assessments there for reading comprehension, as well as having a spelling assessment and punctuation grammar end of year. So we can find one of those. I'm going to do a summative assessment. Let's do the punctuation and grammar one just here, as you can see. There is a preview function that enables you to go through and have a look at it to see if it's right for your class as you're going along. But once you're happy, if you select via clicking in the little circle next to that, and once again click on to next, you've got your who, you've got your what. Now we've got our publish date. And the great thing about this is you can set it into the future if you need to. So for example, I could set it for November if I wanted to, and then let's go for the first week in November. Why not? There we go. And you'll notice up here as well, if I just go for that day, publish for one day, you've got a little summary just there. If I go for that week, publish for 5 days. So it's quite informative as you're going along. Finally, you've got the title. Now, once again, I always think it's beneficial to pop the date in here, because then if you are going to use the same assessment for another time or another year group, you can start to see the sort of comparative data. So I'm going to go punctuation and grammar. I'm just going to get rid of assessments, and I'm going to pop the date that I have set it for in there. A, to remind me when I've set it for, but again, also for that data comparison. And that's it. That is all you have to do for the assessments. Now, as I mentioned earlier, all of the assessments get marked for you. And some formative assessments will even prescribe children with remedial content based upon the questions that they've gotten incorrect. So this meaning that, for example, if a child does fractions, they get all of those incorrect, the computer will identify that area, but also the foundation skill. So sort of your division and multiplication skills as the baseline for fractions. And those will be the tools that are prescribed for that child. So a bit of sort of individual intervention there as well. There we go. And we can click finish just there. And as you can see, you've got your summary at the end. You can go into that My City, maybe add a game in at the end for the students as a bit of a sort of carrot on the end of the stick, or you can just click OK and that is done. Now, those are the assessments and the activities you'll find obviously all over EducationCity, depending upon how you want to search for them. If I go into the numeracy area, you'll find that in the curriculum map, as we are here, once again, if I go into verse 3, you can go into your area, let's go for fractions, find the objective that you're working on, and you'll be able to find the activities there. And you'll see a new update is that everything is now color coded for you. So all of your activities are in blue, learn screens are in red, think it's are in orange, topic tools are in green. But this is really beneficial in terms of being able to easily spot the activities that you can set for your students. And don't forget that all of our activities also come with an activity sheet and activity sheet answers. So if you're doing carousel learning, for example, you may want to do the activity on the computer with a group of students, and some students doing the actual paper activity in books if you want to use them that way. But obviously there's a number of ways that you can use these. So we've got our curriculum map just here. Remember, everything is mapped to the curriculum. In this case of Scotland, for the curriculum for excellence. But we can also head into the subjects area and have a look at the activities there as well. Here we go. Here's our activities. And don't forget as well, we've got some fantastic activities for multiplication and for phonics. Great thing is, it will also tell you if there's an attached learn screen. So you can see you've got your activity here, play mode for the students, whiteboard mode so that you can pop it on the whiteboard and work through with your class, activity sheets, answers, and the learn screen all in one place. Adds to your folders like this, and you've even got your objectives just there as well. So explore those activities, have a look at them, and obviously at the very end, once you pop those activities in and they have been completed, as I mentioned, they are marked for you. So you can head over to the success tracker and start tracking that data. And you can do this for a term, a half term, an academic year, a stage, whether just for the first level or the second level, whatever you want to use it for, you can start to track this data. And you'll see we've got students here, we've got assessments here, the year it was done, the subject area, so on and so forth. And we can sort of filter by first name, surname, score if you wanted to, you can filter those. It does also show you if anything has been partially completed instead of fully completed. And if I click into there, you'll be able to see the incorrectly answered questions, as well as the ones that weren't attempted. You can also have a view of that revision journal the computer created, and also print off a certificate if you're feeling nice. There we go. The great thing is here as well is you can actually edit the columns that you have. So we can take off subject, content type even, how it was accessed. We can get rid of some of this data that we don't need, but we can see things like the duration of time it took them to complete it, or the number of questions attempted, or even the time it was saved on. And the great thing about this curriculum objective just there is that you can start to compile this data for your students, whether it be, you can see you've got all this information here, whether it be for a class, whether it be for a group of students, so I can have a look at my sort of higher groups in comparison to my lowers and update that, or for individual students, maybe even for parents evening just there. And don't forget, all of this data you can export for reporting purposes. So whether you're doing it in groups or as a whole class, or even for individual students, you can export that data to share with SLT or with parents. So that is just about everything for today. I do hope that has been useful. As I mentioned, please do get in touch if you've got any questions for us. You can get in touch at customerservice@educationcity.com, and I'll be happy to answer those questions for you. Also, don't forget that all of these webinars are recorded and you can find them all on our website. So head to educationcity.com and you'll be able to view all these webinars in your own time. I'll hopefully see you at our next one. But until then, take care and stay safe. Bye-bye.